Oh, damn it.
All right, boys. Last topic. We're still running long, but I, with all the attempts in my heart, we will get this under 2 hours. So I'm at 1 hour and 42 right now. Suicide Squad came out, just released this past Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on HBO Max. It's in theaters. We're gonna talk about it. We're talking about the things we liked, the things we didn't like. I'm not gonna go first this time. I want Derek to tell me just how much he loved Nanawe and Sebastian and how he felt about the movie as a whole.
I feel. Now, all right, genuinely, here's what the answer is. When we saw the first look at this, there was just a couple stills about a year ago. I talked shit on it. I talked shit on Loki. I ended up loving Loki. Same thing here. This movie was really, really good.
Yay!
It wasn't perfect. I can admit when I'm wrong. It wasn't perfect. There were a couple scenes that dragged. Like there was some stuff with Harley Quinn that was clearly like, all right, we have Margot Robbie. We have to give her her own scenes for a little bit. But nothing that was like so unwelcome that I just couldn't wait to get through it. That opening scene was incredible. Dude, the gore was like amazing. It was. I don't even know where to start. There was so much good and so much fun in this movie that I don't know what thread to pull on to talk about specifically. And I will end up talking about it all day. So I'll just tell you a couple of my favorite things. First of all, King Shark, that's my son. That's my baby boy, motherfucker. And if anybody ever hurts him, I am coming for you. Dude, every time he got punched or when the little fishy things attacked him, I thought he died. Me and Veronica literally audibly went, oh, that's what we did because we thought he was dead. When the fucking jellyfish monster or starfish monster rather threw him through the building, we were freaking out. That's my honey. That's my baby boy, son. I have to protect him.
Yeah, when he fell off the fucking building.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I thought he was done.
What was it called? Jotunheim? What was it called?
Jotunheim.
Yeah, Jotunheim.
Yeah.
Jotunheim. When he fell off Jotunheim, I thought he was fucking dead after all those little fish guys were on him.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken for a good 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And he starts eating people again.
Yeah. He was great. Sebastian, amazing. Just amazing. Every character in this movie was great, though. That was the thing that I thought was so impressive is that even in the best made movies, you have a couple characters who are you just can't wait till they're kind of off screen so you can get back to the interesting ones. Everyone in this movie was interesting. All of them. They made Polka Dot Man cool as fuck. Dude, and that's what I was going to say. I'm apologizing to Chris openly right now that I laughed at Polka Dot Man and his stupid fucking powers. And they are stupid.
His power is still stupid.
They are, but that's the beauty of it. They just lean into what a dumb power that is.
And his origin for it is way cooler.
Dude. What's that?
The origin of it being an alien virus that his mother experimented on, the bit where he sees his mom as everybody.
Oh my god, dude! I was in tears, dude. I was in fucking tears.
Especially in the strip club. He's
dancing with him. Yeah, dude. But the main thing that surprised me about this movie is I thought that Idris Elba was going to be basically what Will Smith was in the first one, which is to say the bad guy that isn't actually bad at all, and he's secretly a good guy. And the fact that they had the scene with his daughter. I'm here we go. He's going to be I'm going to get out of here for you, baby. But he was just fuck you. They were screaming at each other. They clearly have this awful relationship, but he still has that fatherly instinct of I want to make sure she doesn't end up in this fucking prison and a total loser like me. That was sort of his driving force. Dude, Idris Elba, I didn't think it was possible for me to like him any more than I already did. He was so good in this movie, dude.
To the root?
He was such a good character.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, to the fucking root, son. Straight down to the hilt, baby. My God. But
straight down to the hilt might be the episode title. I don't know.
I don't know what else to say. The action was incredible. It was well shot. The music was great. I'm glad he didn't just do a Guardians of the Galaxy thing and do all classic rock. There was a lot of indie rock in there.
Yeah.
It was fucking good. It was so good. 9 out of 10 good.
Can we talk about how great that opening scene was to start though?
So good.
Nathan Fillion, right? Is that who that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His fucking arms, dude. I forgot about that. Like, is that what he does? He's detachable arm man?
What the fuck? He's like, I don't pick the team. Like, they're fucking like.
And the
Now,
people with
Harley's
the guns
reaction to
shooting
that-
him, he's like swatting at
Yeah.
the people with the guns, and they're just like mildly annoyed. They're like,
Like hitting him on the head and shit.
Yeah.
They look back at Nathan Fillion, he's like this.
Just a quick heads up here, guys. We're about to dive headfirst into that shallow end of the pool we talked about earlier, the one we want to drown Kevin Smith in. We are jumping waist deep into spoilers, starting right now. So, Captain Boomerang, I love how Harley and him had nicknames for each other.
I was
Yeah.
sad that he died.
She was calling
Yeah,
him
me
Boomer.
too.
He was calling her Harls, and like you think like fuck yeah, like they're gonna we have some characters we know from before. We're gonna get a little bit of that chemistry going. And his death was fucking awesome, though.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was fucking.
That
like,
was some
that's what
Final Destination shit. That was
that,
awesome.
That moment right there is when I realized nobody is safe.
Yeah.
But also, like they killed. He did the one thing he can do, and then they killed him. He served his purpose. He killed somebody with a fucking boomerang, and it was cool. But like,
Two people.
were we gonna watch him do that for another 2 hours and 15 minutes? I don't
I
fucking
would say
think so.
I would say his character was so funny. Even in the first Suicide Squad movie, like he's not a great character, but he has some good lines.
I mean,
the whole unicorn
he's-
shtick.
He's one of the few good characters in the first movie. Like one of the few
And it-
well-written ones.
And the only joke he has in this one, really, I was fucking laughing right out the gate. He's like, names that let us dickhead.
Yeah. All names of Linus dickhead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, here we go.
Pete Davidson getting his face caved in.
Oh my god. Yeah.
If you don't like Pete Davidson, this is the movie for you because he does nothing and gets murdered immediately.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
everybody-
when, and
Pete
when
Davidson
Jackal,
was
when
murdered
Jackal
in these-
or Weasel, whatever his name is, jumps out of the plane and drowns immediately, I was like, this is going to be a fucking good movie.
Black's like, no one knew he couldn't swim.
But like, I mean, everybody, even the people who die in the opening scene, get enough of their like. Even if Weasel wouldn't have gotten up at the end and walked away, he still was impactful from the helicopter and the drowning
Yeah.
scene. Like there was so much personality in that. Like I fucking love that character. Like I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of that. But also,
Yeah.
he served his purpose. Everybody
Yeah.
who dies in this gets their laugh or does their cool thing, and then they get like violently shuffled off the mortal coil in the best ways possible. Like, even Javelin, like what a dumb fucking pointless character. But that scene he had with Harley was great, and then it gives her a reason to have this dope weapon for the entire movie, and like her weapon becomes his influence on the movie. That's like how I viewed him for the rest of the movie. Like that, like
Yeah.
Javelin's still with us. Like you know what I mean? Like that was his contribution.
It also gave Harley this choice line. It's like, what's the javelin for? She's like, I'm waiting for God to tell me.
Yeah. I feel like everyone had really great moments in this. Like Harley, I think she had one of the best moments in the movie when she.
I think you're going to talk about what I was going to talk about. Do it.
When she caps the dude after they have sex, and then she like he talking about like how he's gonna murder women and children, where he's to stay in power and keep respect, and she just shoots him in the back, and like she has that awesome speech about how like she has I have terrible taste in men, and you're probably wondering why didn't I just walk away? It's like, well, when your taste in men is as terrible as mine is, they don't go away, they just keep coming.
Yeah.
So I had
Dude,
no
the
choice but to
fucking
kill you.
the DCU's version of Harley Quinn is so fucking good, dude. She is such a good character.
I was going to say, this is one of the big points of the movie I wanted to make is that she's a difficult character to write for because she can come off as really fucking stupid if not handled with the right touch. And surprisingly, through multiple directors, they've done a pretty good job. Even the David Ayer version, she was all right. She had a couple things here and there where I was like, okay, fuck you. But James Gunn captured her personality so perfectly in this, where she's not a good guy. She's at best an anti-hero, but she's still crazy. And there's two scenes that they did that with. And the first one was what you're talking about, which is, to continue that scene, she shoots him. And she says R.I.P. to that absolute monster between your legs.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I thought you were pretty, but I think you might be prettier with all your rotten ideas spilled out all over the floor. And I was like,
that
oh my
fucking line, dude.
God, that line is so good.
I loved that line. I agree.
And then they show, I assume what they were trying to tell us that she just sees all the time when she's killing people, which is her with explosions of color and flowers and cartoon animals flying around her as she's just murdering people. The action for her felt really good and believable, and she just that whole like kind of side story of her with Luna did feel a little dragged at some points, but I loved it so much. That rotten thing spilled out on the floor. I was just like,
yeah,
fucking, that's excellent writing. I loved it.
I also loved the way things jumped around in this. I feel like the pacing was perfect. The way that they showed us the one battle at the beginning, making us think that was happening way earlier. You know what I mean? I thought my initial impression of going into this is that like they sent an A team, Harley got captured, now they're gonna have to send a B team to rescue Harley and get the mission done. Didn't know that like Amanda Waller had sent them there, expecting one of them to be fodder basically. Like she's such a piece of shit in this. Viola Davis is a powerhouse.
Oh my god, Viola Davis is so good. I actually watched parts of it again last night because I wanted to. The whole scene where she's coercing Bloodsport into being part of the team, and he puts the thing to her neck. Yeah. And it was in the trailer when she says "stand down" to people. Legitimately,
I recoiled.
Put chills.
I
can't even imitate it. I won't try.
I literally like. I'll try. It was it's just. I also love how they did title cards, but they didn't do it in a cunty way. They broke things down into bits and pieces, like Operation Harley, Operation.
Dude, I loved those transitions so much.
Yeah,
dude, the Jotunheim one was legitimately
it was like
impressive.
all the top of the buildings,
and then it pans up. Yeah, dude, that was such a good shot, man. That was so good.
And there's not a character in this that isn't treated with as much respect as humanly possible.
Yeah,
even though Ratcatcher too.
Yeah, like. I remember when we were reading off the names of who was going to be in this. We were like we actively made fun of that character. The movie makes fun of that character. And then she ends up being like...
Oh, and Taika Waititi being her dad? Oh, my fucking God.
That scene was so sad.
But the one when they were on top of the tower or whatever, what does he say? If we can appreciate the rats, then we all have a chance or something like that.
Like rats are the most feeble creatures. If rats can have a purpose, then there's hope for all of us.
That's what it is.
Yeah, if rats can have purpose, we all do, or something like that. Yeah. And just the way he delivers it, and then they cut back to her holding the thing. I can feel tears. For a second, it just hit me real quick. I was like, huh. He cuts back to her with the scepter, sending all the rats to Starro to like trying to just hold him at bay while Harley's inside his eyeball actively fucking him up. Yeah. And she's got tears streaming down her face because she's remembering her father, who was an imperfect man, the way they play out the build up to that with her backstory in the bus and it's playing on the windshield was really fucking cool. There's a lot of really cool shots in this movie. And she calls her father's drug problem his burden. And she basically says like, he was a great father. Like he loved me a lot, but he had this burden, and you see him like shooting up and she's like, eventually the burden was too much for him to bear. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of good shots, before I forget, the scene where fucking, I can never remember this guy's name. I think it's Flag. And
Flag.
And Peacemaker are fighting, and you see it in the reflection.
No, Peacemaker. Sorry,
is it Peacemaker? And you see it in the reflection of Peacemaker's helmet, like panning with them.
Yeah,
was such a fucking good. I know it was superimposed under the helmet. I'm not a dummy, but I'm just saying it was a great fucking composite shot.
We have to talk about how incredible John Cena was in this. It's like.
Yeah,
I was worried that like we had seen all the best bits in the trailer because like that who knows what Mad Men do with that, you know, but he had like throughout he was consistently hilarious. Like there's one part where they're going through the rebel camp and they think it's like and they think it's like the enemy's camp still. So like him and Bloodsport are going back and forth silently killing people. He's like,
oh yeah,
he's like not a fatal shot, doesn't count. And the guy's like something condensed bullets, and the guy explodes. Like nobody likes a show off. He's like. They do if what they're showing off is fucking dope. He like throws it and like, but the thing is like his comedic timing on that was fantastic. But then like, Idris Elba like turns around, he's like, "Fuck, he's right there too." Like it's like, like his calm response to that had me like howling. I'm really excited to see what the Peacemaker series is going to be now though, because we know that he's not dead after the post-credit scene. So it makes me wonder, like, are we going to maybe get some cameos from other people? Is he maybe going to be on a quest for vengeance?
I think that James Gunn did say that it would cross over with other DC properties. I don't think he said which ones, but
James Gunn is doing that.
It's for HBO Max, yeah, it's a series.
James Gunn wrote the whole series and directed 5 of the episodes himself. So looking forward to it.
My final thoughts on this are this. So at the end of 2, I think Harley's the only one left that was in 1, right? Am I forgetting something? I mean, Flag was in it too.
She's the only original returning character.
Yeah. So I genuinely hope that. Well, first of all, I hope James Gunn does the 3rd one, and I hope they keep doing that because when Polkabot Man died, I got really sad. I was like, oh man, like that sucks. I was hoping to see him in future films or whatever. And then I thought about it and I'm like, he would actually suck in future films. They would keep doing the mom thing or like, then you'd find out he had daddy issues. He's like, now I have to pretend they're my dad. Like they do something dumb like that. You don't,
right.
They Michael Myers that shit.
Exactly.
Joke, but different.
He lived his purpose. He did it so well. And it was time for him to go. I hope every subsequent Suicide Squad movie that comes out, they 86 most of the cast and bring in new dummy heroes or villains rather.
All we need is Rick Flag and Harley, right? Like those are the two.
Rick Flag's dead.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh no.
Dude, I never cared about him. And that scene had me like choked up a little bit. Like I never gave a shit about his character. And that scene was like still punched me in the gut, dude.
Can we talk about, like there wasn't an ounce of fat on this movie to me. I mean, I know
it just moved, man. It just fucking moved. Other than some of the scenes in the whatever it was called, the Harley and the guy scenes, like some of that stuff, I think could have went, but like I said, it wasn't unbearable.
I get why they were built. Like, it did take a little bit longer to get to the point than it should have, but I feel like they were doing that whole Cinderella thing to really make you think that she was going to fall for it again and to build it up. Like, have you learned nothing? Have you learned fucking nothing? And then like you get that payoff where she clearly knows what the fuck is up, and she's got that birds of prey swagger still. But even Starro, like even Starro as he's dying says, "I was so happy,
so sad,
floating up in space. I was so happy I had a beautiful view." Just floating in space. Like even the big bad is a tragic character. Like everybody serves their purpose, gets their punches in, like whether it's an action scene, a laugh, or like a gut-wrenching, like a heart-string tearing line. You know what I mean? Like it's just I'm gonna watch it again as soon as we're done.
I'm gonna watch it again tonight, start to finish for sure. I really was happy with this film. I hope this is a sign of quality to come for the DC universe. I will not bank that that's the case, but I hope that this is the case. Walter Hamada, leader of DC Films, has said that he is going to be involved with other DC projects. I don't know if he means the sequel or if he means something else entirely, but the more that they can bring in talented filmmakers and just let them do what they want, I think is the only way you're going to separate yourself from what Marvel's doing. And honestly, at this point, the only hope you have to stay relevant but still profitable and enjoyable films, because Marvel would never have made a film like this ever.
Dude, and I watched Infinity War, which is one of my favorite Marvel films. And then I watched the end of Endgame right on the heels of this, right before I watched Suicide Squad. And just like the formula between the two, dude, DC and between this and the Snyder Cut, dude, DC is fucking just killing it, in my opinion. I think that MCU is doing the same thing again and again and again and again, with the exception of Loki. But DC is the one going like, all right, they're seeing that they're doing the same thing over and over again, and basically saying, all right, we're going to be the ones that taking it in a new direction and try new things. And I hope that they stick with that plan because it's fucking working so far.
Can I ask you guys something?
Oh, please do.
Do you think that DC Films has learned their lesson in the wake of the Snyderverse, that maybe they should keep their fucking hands out of projects? Because James Gunn, they told him, you can use any characters you want. He's even gone on record saying, if I wanted to kill Harley Quinn, they would have let me.
Jeez.
Like they gave him complete creative control, and I think this is definitely the best DC movie we've gotten yet. I think this might beat any Marvel movie for me too.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was great.
It was super
and with a D-list cast. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
D-list.
That's kind of like James Gunn's fucking specialty at this point, right? I guess his fucking forte.
The only other movie, the only Marvel movie I can think of that is as fun as this is the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest, because I mean, I think some of them were great. You know, we've talked about, I like some of the Captain Americas and some of the Avengers, but none of them are as fun as this was, with the exception of maybe Guardians, maybe.
And Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, you're right. For Ragnarok.
All right, baby boy.